Everybody, welcome to Think Twice, a channel where we discuss comic books, movies, and television, and draw some of your favorite characters. I'm your host, Kevin Hart, and today we'll be talking all about Spider-Man, Brand New Day. Stick around to the end of the episode to see how Drawing of Spider-Man came out, and if you like what you see, subscribe to the channel for more content. The fourth MCU Spider-Man film, Brand New Day, is directed by Destin Daniel Cretton, who we know from Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, and I believe he also created and worked on Wonder Man, the TV show. Two excellent contributions to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I think they're both very underrated, and creatively, they definitely have a lot going on for them. So I was really excited to see that he was taking over the reins for the previous director, Jon Watts, who did a great job. At first, I was very on the fence about Tom Holland and about the MCU Spider-Man, Iron Boy Jr. But honestly, over time, in hindsight, Tom Holland's Spider-Man really grew on me, especially after No Way Home. And we've been waiting a long time to see the continuation of the whole world forgetting Peter Parker after Doctor Strange's spell. So this movie felt like an event. There's a lot of strong elements to this movie that I really, really enjoy. The more serious tones, even the look of the film, this movie is gorgeous. Every single shot of this film, every frame could be on a poster of all these little small snippets of New York City or the color grading of this film. It's not too overly polished and saturated. It's got this like grainy film look. It feels like a film, like an earlier 2000s or even a Sony Spider-Man film in the best ways, not the bad ways. Everybody's acting in this film is extremely solid. I think it helps that Jon Bernthal and Tom Holland are buddies in real life. So I think that chemistry kind of is borrowed from reality, and also with Zendaya, the three of them being in the movie The Odyssey recently, I think they already have chemistry going into the filming of this movie, so it definitely shows, and that's very much a strong point of this film for me. Is that trio of MJ, Peter, and the Punisher, which the Punisher, he had a lot more to do in this film than I thought he would. I thought he would just be in quick what we saw in the commercial, but he has a pretty large role throughout this movie. Honestly, he was one of the standouts for me. Jon Bernthal, I laughed every time he was having these conversations with Peter Parker, who's got this like older, jaded, more world-weary viewpoint on life, and Peter's, even though he's been through extreme loss, like he's still kind of like this naive kid that's optimistic and hopeful and just hoping that everything works out and just trying his best to figure things out in life. There was a lot of fun dialogue and chemistry moments through their conversations, but I think Jon Bernthal did go a little too Jon Bernthal instead of Frank Castle. I think he was losing the character a little bit at some moments in the movie. But overall, I still think he's an excellent Punisher, and I'm just happy to see him have a bigger role in Marvel. And there's a lot of Marvel lore in this movie. You have the freaking ninjas, the Hand from Daredevil, which I thought we would get a Daredevil cameo. I was definitely expecting that. No mention of Matt Murdock, especially after two pivotal seasons of Daredevil Born Again on Disney+. I think that was a little strange, to be honest. But we got the Hand, we got the Hulk, we got the Punisher, we got Jean Grey from X-Men, Jesus Christ. We have this like shocker fist from the Weapons of Damage Control. It's so cool. It almost felt like a video game. And honestly, a lot of the movie reminded me of the Insomniac PlayStation video games. You could see they definitely borrowed a lot of influence from that. Again, the cinematography of this movie is A+. Like all these POV shots, we saw it in 3D too, and it was just visually stunning to look at. I felt like I was free falling through the skyscrapers. I felt like I was swinging through cities, and just having the Spider-Man POV is always fun to see. They definitely borrowed a lot of elements, I feel, from The Amazing Spider-Man 2, especially because that movie, as bad as the villains are, that is like one of the most gorgeous suits and films of Spider-Man that we've ever seen live action, and it's a movie that's beloved to my heart. So I'm glad to see that there was a lot of callbacks to even some of the same shots of that movie, how they filmed it practically. The suit, this is not to be understated, this might be the best live-action Spider-Man suit we've got, even over TASM 2. I thought it wasn't getting better than that, the same way I think that nothing's ever topping Ben Affleck's Batman suit. It's like ripped straight from the comic book page. This Spider-Man suit, you could see the wrinkles in the fabric, and I love that they did that, because the whole MCU Spider-Man, I thought he was just in mocap. He's got the dots, he's in the green suit. It just never felt like he's in the scenes acting with them. It just felt off. Something was off about it the whole time. Although the Homecoming suit is definitely one of my favorites, I think this suit is something that we're never getting better than. This is it. This is peak. I love that you could see his eyes through the white lenses. It looks like a John Romita Spider-Man, and I absolutely love it. We saw it in the trailers, but I love that they recreated the cover designs. That was a nice little nod. All these creatives, even Tom Holland had a hand in the writing and the production of the movie, which he should. He's done a lot. He does his own stunts. He's clearly given a lot to this performance of Peter Parker. He's definitely grown on me as a Spider-Man and Peter Parker, and you could just tell that he definitely cares about the project. He cares about the fans. He just seems like a good dude in reality. mentality too. And I like that they're giving their all to try and please the fans, and not just to make this a money cash grab, because Spider-Man is always going to bring in people. Probably the biggest thing that I appreciate about this film, and one of my favorite scenes, is that Bruce Banner, the Hulk, finally goes green and hulks out, as he should, like this Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. That's how the Hulk is. I feel like the MCU really hasn't had a plan for Hulk since the Incredible Hulk movie, which is a founding father of the MCU back in 2008. They haven't really done much with the Hulk. They've done small little roles, and finally I think they got him where he needs to be, where he's this angry, out of control character. That's when he's at his best, like in Age of Ultron or the Incredible Hulk. I really didn't like him in Endgame, Smart Hulk. I get like that he needs to evolve throughout the movies for his character, but if I wanted some peace, love, and pacifist and glasses deliver me tacos, I would have ordered Uber Eats to my door. You know what I'm saying? No, I want the Incredible Hulk. I want him absolutely freaking out. He got the thunderclap. It was so good. But again, it does feel a little inconsistent, because at the end of 2008 Hulk, he's like meditating and got control of Hulk apparently. And then in the Avengers, he says he's always angry, so he's got control of it. And then he's smart and wears glasses and then is like all good. But then finally he's got this like inhibitor thing to suppress his emotions to serve the story of this movie. So it just feels a little all over the place, but I'm just glad to see that Hulk is finally raging out. And another thing that I really liked about the movie, but I'm also kind of on the fence about, is Sadie Sink as Jean Grey. We all knew but didn't know that she would be the villain of this movie through the rumors. I think she's perfect casting for Jean Grey. She's a very strong actress, but you really understood the villain. It was a very interesting and bold choice, almost like a gamble, to make Jean Grey the villain of this movie. The real villain is actually the dude from Severance. This like weaselly dude that's just, you know, a corporate guy in a suit. They're always the villains. But I kind of understood like where he was coming from as well, because they're the Department of Damage Control. They're trying to prevent threats, and even though they're going about it in awful ways, like I could see like obviously what she did, which I guess is like she had a reason to go after them because they took her sister, and it's just not the way to go about it. But she also comes a little bit heavily dark throughout this movie, where I was like, all right, I think it's Jean Grey, but she's doing a lot of things that I just couldn't see Jean Grey doing. Even if Spider-Man was there to save all these people, like she's mind controlling people, which she says she doesn't want to be controlled, so why is she going in people's minds without their consent? So that was a little hypocritical too. But she's jumping from person to person in their minds, which was very sick, by the way. The way they showcased that was awesome. That level of power, everything she did was really, really cool. But she leaves this trail of like absolute destruction. There's definitely casualties throughout this film. I don't want to hear that she's not a killer. The guy who got hit by a car and he's over the age of 40, he is done, bro. She was sadistic too with that Spider-Man 1 kiss where he takes the mask off and then it reveals that it's Jean Grey and she's controlling Zendaya, MJ, and then she throws her off a building. I know Spider-Man's there, but what if he wasn't? What if something happened? Like, she was willing to take that chance, which was a little dark for me, which makes me think, like, was this the MCU's version of Dark Phoenix? Was this their modern telling of Dark Phoenix? We know that we got Dark Phoenix in the Fox movies twice, and twice they were never that great. So was this their version of evil Jean Grey? Let's get it out of the way and then partner her up with the X-Men and control her abilities, have Charles. He's got to be out there. It looks like she was going upstate at the end of the movie. And now with this introduction to mutants, we've all been waiting for it in the MCU. I think that was a pretty big moment of people being frozen without permission. All their minds are controlled. I think that's a pretty big event that will definitely not go unnoticed by a lot of eyes. So will we see Magneto? Will we see Charles? Will we see the X-Men and the Institute for these gifted youngsters? It leaves me with more intrigue and questions than anything. The whole movie, I feel like, is a little bit abrupt in certain areas with the script. And that's why I guess we'll get into the bad. It definitely feels like there's no central villain for this movie. Honestly, Scorpion, I felt he was absolutely wasted. He is one of the coolest looking comic book villains for Spider-Man, and they made him somehow look extremely generic. There's no mask. I'm pissed off about that because, again, back to the Spider-Man Insomniac games on PlayStation, he has one of the coolest freaking looks that they've ever adapted from the comic book page. So I was like, just do that. He looks awesome. I want the visor. I want the red eyes. I'm glad we got the tail, but every time he was on screen, I was like, I don't know, maybe this actor, it just isn't doing it for me. I think maybe story-wise throughout the movies, Scorpion has just been this like cheesy one note, I'm gonna get Spider-Man type villain. So there's nothing much for me to grab there, unfortunately. I hope they do a little bit more with him going forward. And if this was it for Scorpion, I think it's absolutely underutilized. I do think that the story-wise, it's pretty solid script. Not perfect, but some of the dialogue did fall a little flat. A lot of the jokes didn't land. His friends, Ned's hilarious, man. Anytime that guy just walks on the screen, Jacob Batalon, there's just something about him that makes me laugh. He's just such a ridiculous character. MJ Zendaya, I'm finally coming around to her a little bit, but even then, I think his friends are just like goofballs. And I was hoping to see a little bit more weight of them forgetting him throughout the film. I think they could have done a little bit more with it. Speaking of end credit sequence, is Ned stronger than, Dormammu was having a hard time against Doctor Strange, but I guess the bro dab just ends Doctor Strange's curse. He just remembers he's Peter, I guess. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't. We'll see. It's a cliffhanger. But my wife even mentioned, I think in No Way Home, they brought out that Ned's family, his grandma or his aunt or someone had like the juju or the aura, like the superpowers of the sorcerers. So maybe that's how he's able to undo this spell. Maybe he's immune to it somehow. I don't know. Time will tell. I thought it was a little weird that Spider-Man was just like casually talking to this like police chief, DeWolf. But I was like, how would this person not want to track down a vigilante Spider-Man? I know he's helping and doing good, but how does he have her cell phone number or like vice versa? Meanwhile, Ned's able to like track him down. He's got like the clipboards of, he's going crazy like the dude from Always Sunny in Philadelphia. If the Green Goblin gets a hand of this app, Spider-Man is done. And then we see Spider-Man teleport at the end credit to space. What's that about? That's intriguing, although we just got him back to Queens. I still want that friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, which, again, that's what I appreciate about this movie, is it felt smaller, less dynamic than like this overly polished, larger-than-life Avengers MCU Spider-Man. I wanted just Spider-Man on the streets, and that's what I got out of this movie, and I loved it. How I feel about these movies, even with the Hulk and Spider-Man, because when we had a more grounded, theatrical Spider-Man, the world wasn't ready for comic booky things with Tobey Maguire. With John Watts' Spider-Man trilogy, we got this full-blown comic book Spider-Man. And now, because we've had that for so long, we kind of need a change of pace, this breath of fresh air. So now we need him back to the streets. Same thing with Hulk. He was Raging Monster, but everyone's bored of the Rage Monster. So let's make him smart. Let's make him more Banner. Like, let's do things with him. But we're tired of that, so now we need just the Rage Monster Hulk. I feel like these movies kind of, just because we've grown so accustomed to them, that it's like a fashion trend, like skinny jeans versus baggy jeans. Like, we're just gonna overlap those fashion trends till the day we die. We're tired of this trend. Oh, we just go back to this one. Oh, we're tired of this one now, so we just go back to the other one. That's how it feels to me. Overall, I think this is still a strong movie. It's definitely stronger than it is weaker. It was a breath of fresh air. It's cinematically gorgeous. Acting is absolutely top tier, and the writing gives a strong effort. We have an introduction to Jean Grey and the X-Men, so that alone intrigues me and gives me hope. Although of all the Spider-Man villains throughout the movies, I think this one's just like a little weird because it's Jean Grey. It's not really a villain technically. So I think it's probably one of my lesser favorite villains of Tom Holland's movies so far. But I think after this trilogy we just had, we kind of needed this slow rebuild, picking up these pieces with Peter Parker's life, with MCU Spider-Man. We kind of have to see where could we go from here. And I think this is definitely a good direction. I'm going to give this movie out of 10. What did you guys think about Spider-Man Brand New Day? Let us know in the comments below. Anyways, that about wraps up today's episode of Think Twice. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, comment below to join the discussion, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more content. We'll see you next time. Peace!